It's that point in time when all Guyanese will help to determine the next phase in leadership for Guyana, as one party asks for more time to achieve its promises, whereas the others just clamor for change, which is critical in the Guyana's economy. Now, during this entire interview, sir, I will refer to some of the clips taking song bites or excerpts from the interviews you had with both Capital News and Evening News in Guyana as we develop our today's discussion. So why don't we just listen to those?
I campaigned for the PPP last time and it didn't work out. And I gave them critical support. My support is withdrawn. Totally. And now I give them criticism. I kept telling them to bring the opposition into the government of national unity. I believe in that. I've always advocated that. A coalition government. We don't have any national leader of any vision really. We got able leaders, I think honorable men, but they need to come together, especially the racial and class divisions we have in this country. They need to come together and work together. Everybody needs a cut of the pie. Every nationality, every class and every race need a cut of this pie. This Guyanese pie that could be great for all of us. Instead of that, we have majoritarian rule, which hogs all the pie for themselves. That don't work. Nowhere in the world people are accepting that.
Well, Dr. Jagan, your opinion here is that a coalition government is best suited for the rulership of Guyana. But let's reflect in the elections of 1964. The PPP, which was led by your late father, fell short of obtaining a majority status. And that, that subsequently led to a coalition of the PNC and the UF, right?
Right.
And we all know what happened there. That led to the demise of Guyana for over 28 years. So why are you advocating a coalition government again?
Well, you know, what happened in 1964 is not very, very relevant to what is happening today. It's a changed world. The whole world has changed. And coalition politics was not the name of the game then, but that is happening all over the world now. So, you know, the world has changed. It's a different world we live in. So I happen to believe in coalition politics for the modern world. Look at Germany. Look at what's happening in Yemen. All over the world, there are coalition governments forming. In England right now, Cameron is fighting with a coalition government to retain power. So, you know, I mean, it's like Mr. Obama said in relation to Cuba. When communism and what happened in the 60s occurred with Cuba, he was a small boy. He has no time for that anymore. He's dealing with reality. And that's why Mr. Obama has opened up the door to Cuba against all kind of criticism. So, you know, we need change. We need new ideas. And coalition is now a new idea. It was always wrong, but it's become more appropriate for the times we live in.
In a letter you wrote, you said, I never joined the PPP when Jagan was alive because he felt that would have created the wrong impression in people's minds. Right. Unfortunately, the rulers of Guyana today mean to perpetuate family control over our political processes as long as they can manipulate the traditional PPP voters in voting for Chedi's party. Right. Do you still feel that people are using your father's legacy for their own political purposes?
Yeah, well, it's obvious they're doing that. That is obvious. Everybody is juggling Chedi Jagan's name around. But as I tell people, you know, my father is dead and gone. And the things that my father fought for, he fought for the small man against the big shots. He fought for democracy against Reagan. He fought for things like that. He fought for the working class, for the sugar workers in particular, who he represented. And look at the sugar workers today. Skeldon is a failed deal. Sugar is going down the drain. They bring a man named Raj Singh, who was up here in America, to run the major corporate, the biggest corporation in Ghana. This guy don't know who he's up to, and he has no idea of how to run a corporation like that, as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, times have changed, and things are different, but they still use Jagan's name, yes, all the time.
Let us listen to another clip of yours.
My father never owned a house. We lived at Looney Street in a very small, rickety house. Then we moved to Red House and he became Prime Minister. For 4 years we lived there, and he never spent a cent on the place of government money. Then he had to move to Camp Street, and the abuse from people from the opposition who were so bad, who are now in government, who support us, that we had to move out of there. We never had a house. We were renting a house in Camp Street. And then he finally built his house in Bel Air Plantation, Bel Air Village. People think it's Bel Air Springs or Bel Air, the best part of Bel Air, but it's Bel Air Village, which was a dump then. It was nothing. And I want to remember Mr. Ramkran, Mr. Boise Ramkran, who gave my father a very good deal in the piece of land we got. And my father was able to build a house with supporters came from all over to build his house, in a very small, humble house.
Do you think that former President Bart Jagdeo lacks political decorum when he compared his current lifestyle with that of your father?
I wouldn't use those words, lack political decorum. I mean, Mr. Jagdeo, I'm not one of the people who've talked about Mr. Jagdeo and what he has. I'm talking about policies. I'm talking about the wrong things that have been done, like the road from Mila Falls by Fifth Nautilal, like the Skeldon Sugar Factory. So, if Mr. Jagdeo wants to live in a big house and a big fancy house with 20 rooms, that's his business, but it isn't that. It's the general corruption in the whole system, where a man might leave Berbice and have to go and get a passport or a driver's license till in Georgetown, which the PP government has never did, which I told them they should do. Put passport and license offices in Berbice and Escobar. So a man has to go to Georgetown and bribe somebody to get it. So the corruption is widespread and through the system. And that is what we have to worry about. You cannot carry a country forward with corruption. There's no way.
Let's listen to this one here.
Friends, citizens, I'm here tonight to tell you that I've been a critic for a long time of this government and the small things she done in this country. That is what I was critical about. But when I look at the situation today, and I talk to Mr. Donald Ramatar, and Mr. Donald Ramatar assured me and pledged to me that we will fix the things for you in the next administration. No government, no party in the world is perfect.
So to speak.
Nowhere in the world. They can't get everything done overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Well, it can be easily perceived that you have once again engaged in what some may say vacillation of your political views, having once expressed your satisfaction at the pace in which the current administration is governing, and more so for the commitment you received from the incumbent President Donald Ramatar. Now you are opposed to the same party you once supported. Why, sir?
Well, here, if you want to examine that, first of all, let me give you a little history quickly, because I hear people saying I vacillated. I left the PP. I campaigned for the PP in 1997. I joined the People's Progressive Party after my father died and campaigned for them. I was an MP. I resigned my seat from the PP, from my MP seat, and from the party in 1998, 8 months after I joined. And I've been in opposition to them since then. I went back to them after Mr. Ramatar came in 2011. I went to support them because Mr. Ramatar promised me certain things, not things to enrich myself or for my family. I'm talking about local elections he promised to hold, and other things he promised to build a civic back to what my father dreamed of. My father always envisioned a strong civic. Today the civic is spineless. It has nobody in it. So what I'm saying is, yes, I went and I politiced with them, but that's politics. Anybody, Americans change sides regularly. They take a position and go to another position. Many U.S. politicians. So I feel no problem with that. I supported them, but I said, the last election, I said clearly, I'm giving them critical support. Critical support. At that time, I would support them. Within 3 months after the election, I realized they had no intention of fulfilling the things they told me. So I'm back in the opposition, and basically that's it. I never vacillated. I went and joined them the last time, hoping that things would change. Like, for example, there was a scandal at the national television thing with a guy named Fuzzy Sattar was dismissed. I felt that proceedings should be taken against them for corruption to the courts. Nothing was ever done. So those are the things I've been talking about, that whatever little light came to me that I went and support them, disillusioned me after. I have the right to do that. I'm not seeking political office. I'm not running for president or prime minister. But I have my political views.
You have always been very
position.
outspoken when it comes to
Right.
expressing your views, and that I
Right.
commend you for. I think that's
Right.
that's your right. No one should be able to take that away from you.
Right.
Judging back from your history in Canada and blah blah blah.
Right.
And one thing that captures my attention, though, because having also graduated at the University of Ghana, is your stance you have taken for what's going on in the University of Ghana. Let's listen to this.
I went to UG a couple of years back when my daughter was looking to go there. I quickly canceled that notion and sent her abroad. Quickly. Because this government, especially the Minister of Education, who's responsible for the university, I assume, they're doing nothing there. Our kids, it's a disgrace that the cream of our society, the cream of our youth, cannot be properly treated over there with the toilets and the physical facilities there are deteriorating all the time. And these people are doing nothing. Why are we treating them like that? So, this is inexcusable. When my father founded the university again in the 60s, and his vision for the university, and my godfather made it happen, Mr. Barnum. What has happened today? Where are we sitting here now? We have a university that isn't functioning properly, basically. And those students, I applaud those students and the teachers there who are trying, the professors who are trying to get betterment. Because I understand what's going on there. It's another area where the government keeps interfering. Right? So what we need in this country is less government interference into our institutions, and that is not happening.
But how can we fix something if we don't interfere?
No, when I say interfere, of course I understand the government has to take a responsibility and contribute to the betterment of the university. But you don't interfere into the daily runnings. You don't put people who are not qualified in certain positions. The university, and look at the result of when you get a degree from the university, there's no jobs for people. Most of our youth who come out of university have to run to other countries. Nurses have to come out of nursing school. So, we have to solve problems by creating jobs. We need foreign investment and trade. We need American investment. We need the diaspora to come back and invest in Ghana and bring their skills to Ghana. But we have to set up the conditions for their return. You can't expect people to leave America or investors to go to Ghana and the condition of the hospitals, the education, this and that. The whole environment stinks. You go to Georgetown, the city is a hellhole. It's filthy. So, you have to fix the infrastructure the right way for our youth and for the university students to move ahead.
Let us perform a comparative analysis. Guyana today versus Guyana 28 years ago. Have you seen any improvements?
Of course there's improvement. Nobody's saying there's no improvement. There is improvement from now to 28 years ago.
And
I agree with you.
Don't you think that the country is heading in the correct direction under the current regime?
Don't.
Why?
No, I don't.
Why?
If you want to see the correct development, go to Trinidad. Go to Trinidad and you see correct development under Kamala Bissessar. She understands the foreign investment and trade. We don't have any investment. We don't have any manufacturing capabilities. You go in the stores, things are made in China, Japan, all Suriname, Trinidad. Simple things like plantain chips we don't even produce. So no, I believe we've made some improvements, yes. There's no question about it. But we could have done a lot better, and it's time to do better, a lot better.
Now, on a different note, recently a citizen of Guyana staged a protest in front of the Ministry of Health, and she was subjected to some disparaging remarks at the hands of the Minister of Health. What's your take on that?
I think that is just an example of the general way our ministers behave. In general, the incompetency. Because, him speaking out about the lady or saying things about the lady is just the surface of the iceberg. Below is his incompetence in running his ministry. Go and check. Anybody with a fair mind, go down and check the situation with the health in Ghana and what is going on. It's crazy. And people need to pay attention to these things.
You don't feel that things are being blown out of proportion for electoral purposes?
Well, of course, things are always blown out for electionary purposes. But he did say it. That's the point. If it wasn't an election in Britain or America or Canada, he'd be dismissed the next day. He'd have to resign the next day. You know that, and I know that.
Yes. Let's talk crime in Guyana. What's your viewpoint on how you think crime can be solved?
Well, crime is just another example of the general malaise in Guyana. Crime is just what people are seeing, but in general, it's the same thing happening. I mean, can you imagine our children don't have proper drinking water? People have to buy drinking water in this day and age. Just think about that a minute. I have a dog and I feed him water. I won't give him the water out of the tap. It's filthy. So crime is just like the water. It's just you're feeling it because it's just water. So crime is showing up and everybody talks about it. But crime is out of hand, yes, because in general of the same thing I'm talking about. We don't have proper governance. We don't have people that are doing the right thing for the policeman to capture the criminal. Our policemen don't have proper communications equipment. They don't have proper pay. They don't have proper life insurance to go and battle these criminals who walk around with assault weapons and all kind of nonsense. So it's a large, and then what's the other side of the crime? Punishment. Where is the punishment? People getting off with all kind of crimes and walk away. It ain't just the criminals who hold you up and shoot you. They got people driving cars and running on killing people on the road. Minibus drivers drunk, get off, pay $50,000 and get off, bribe the policeman. So that is happening. So that's a part of crime. Nobody's talking about that. When 10 people die in a minibus accident where the driver was drunk, that's a crime. But he gets off of them driving the road the next month. Not here. You know what happened to him here. So in general, yes, crime is out of control and things are bad in the crime area. But it's because of the proper direction of where this government is going.
Well, that's a beautiful segue to my final question to you, sir. If you were asked to advise on how better the government can govern, what would you say?
I would say simply the way to govern is to generate economic growth and to produce cash. Therefore, I would bring North American investment in our timber industry instead of just giving it away to the Chinese and the Asians who slash and burn. That's a big economic thing. I would bring foreign investment and trade, chiefly from America, Canada, the European countries, real trade, solid trade to bring good jobs together, quality jobs. Those are the kind of things that we need to do as a beginning to start. We don't have any major proper investment. We got a lot of carpetbaggers coming together. We don't need carpetbaggers. We need solid investment and trade. And that will help to grow the economy and solve many problems.
Dr. Jagan, it was a pleasure having you on board this program today. You have really highlighted some questions and concerns that I had in mind. But before I let you off, let me ask you the tough question. Are you supporting PPP or APIDU?
No, I have made it clear that I support the coalition process. I've said publicly that within a week from now I'll make my decision clear. But I lean towards a coalition process. I lean towards the opposition. Yes, I would not deny that.
But there is room that you can back the PPP.
Well, that room is closing off for me because I tried. My father's party and a lot of emotional ties are there. But my father is dead and gone. And the things my father believed are not in existence in that party today, unfortunately. My father would have never tolerated the things I see going on in that party. Never.
Ever. I thank you very kindly, sir. Final words on your part.
Well, I'd just like to wish the Guyanese community up here a great future. And I would urge them to obey all the laws of America and be good Americans while they're here. But don't forget Guyana. Guyana needs your help. And one day, with the right change coming to Guyana, we could bring back our people and they could find a second home in Guyana, especially in the later twilight years. And I think that once we change the red tape and the things against people coming home together, which like investing, you have to be pushed around here and there, and we could straighten out that, and people could return in safety where crime is not a problem, and those things. Those people will be very welcoming, and they're very critical to our development. All you people living here.
Dr. Jagan, I thank you very kindly, sir, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
Bye-bye.